Yes, here we go. P.M.P after the latest Champions League game for Celtic. We're at home to Club Brugge. It was a weird one because we knew it was a proper test. It was a chance for us to see if the form that we've showed in most of the games this so far in Europe, we were going to validate it with a game we were favourites in. So would we validate it with 3 points? Actually, we put in a really disappointing display, but my spin on it is any other disappointing display I've seen in recent memory in the Champions League leads to no points and 2, 3, 4 goal defeats. Now we put in a poor performance at home and we get a point, and we're maybe even disappointed by that. I think that shows that this season the screw or there's been a turn in terms of our ambition and how we've performed in Europe so far. Anyway, that's my positive slant on it for so far. Terry joins me. How are you, big man? Brilliant fun on Saturday, mate.
Yeah, not too bad, Bhoycie. Not too bad. I'll just be as jovial as I was on Saturday, but I think you've made a good point there. The fact that we're disappointed with the point kind of shows the progression that we've had, and I think if you step back again and just look at the game objectively, we probably didn't deserve to get the win. You're always hoping that once you get back to level again, that you'll find a way to do it. I thought they were a good side. I thought they were young and energetic. I thought they displayed a lot of the facets of the sort of modern style of play, pressing like mad and really quick, accurate passing. I did think they lacked a bit of a cut on the edge, and I know that just in the short space of time between the end of the game and before coming on, just listened to the reaction of the pundits on the TV and everything. I thought they maybe overdid it in terms of the praise for Bruges. I thought they were good, but I also thought they were a bit toothless. I know Schmeichel made one really good save at the start of the second half, but despite all the good stuff they played, they were, the shots weren't raining in on Schmeichel. They weren't cutting us asunder. Any chances that they got, I think we can wind them back to mistakes by us, and I think it's that scenario again where we almost cause our own downfall. Their goal, obviously, that's the obvious part where we've contributed to that ourselves. But there were other opportunities that they got, but they came from mistakes by us. They came from slack play. They came from giving away possession
or goals.
Yeah. I think overall it's a fair result. I think it's worth though. I was just having a wee quick look at the table there whenever the intro was playing, and the difference in a draw tonight and a win is joint 6th place, moving right down to 20th. I think just that there's just such a group of clubs just all in and around that 8 to 10 points that. We're actually only
we're 2 points off the top 8.
Yeah, but we're also only 4 places off not getting through to the next round.
Oh, I know.
And if you look menacingly, the team in 24th, Real Madrid, the team in 25th, Paris Saint-Germain, and I think we can probably forget about dreams of finishing in the top 8. But see, to be honest, I don't think it matters as long as you get through. I really don't think it matters where you finish, because there's going to be teams finishing 18th, 19th, 20th, and 20th that could well go on to win it. That's just going to be.
No, I get that. I totally get that. We'll discuss all that as well tonight. Remember, do all that good stuff, please. There is 100 of you already in the chat, so a big shout out to all yous, because I know there's loads of pods going on at the same time, and there's radio and all that carry on. So thank you for tuning in at the bus, or jumping on the bus, whatever you want to call it. But mind, do all that good stuff. Hit the like button, hit the share, buy some hair, all that carry on. If you've not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, make sure you hit the bell and never miss a bus. Remember, piesports.com, bus 1888, 12.5% off. You know the drill. Yes, Terry, it was the same lineup. You called that at the weekend. You thought it would be, and it definitely was. A spot-on prediction on your part. Any surprises? Obviously not for you. I'll be honest. We'll just talk about the lineup, because that's now a retrospective thing by the time we get to half time, and the glaring one seems to be Engels, right? Now, that's fine. One of the arguments I've seen all over social media is, of course, is he getting played maybe because, he was the big investment in the summer, and rather than, based on performances, when you're looking at how good Bernardo's looked, for example, even McCowan as well. And I get that. I also flip it and I go, I wonder if he's getting more scrutiny from fans also because of said price tag. And I think, I said in the group chat after the game, I thought Hatate, for example, was lucky his surname wasn't Engels because, if it had been, I think he would have been the focal point, definitely. But yeah, when it got to half time, it felt like there had to be a change made. It seemed like it was Engels as the main one. It was really weird. I've got to be honest though, I didn't think it was individuals, and I think this is what we're really quick to always go to is individual players not playing as well being the core problem. The problem was, and I without trying to be a fucking arsehole, I can't prove it anyway. I thought after 5 to 10 minutes, I remember sitting going, they've got our number here. And I think what they do get is 10 out of 10 for doing the homework. It's like they were a team who were playing for the third, fourth time this season already. Do you know what I mean? They just seem to read all our patterns of play. They knew how our worked. They knew exactly where we were going to try and when, sorry, I should say, we we're going to try and find our wingers. They seemed to do the press really nicely where it wasn't crazy high, their press, but they'd grow into it. They would grow and then they'd slowly but surely just creep up. So it starts like it's really difficult to get through them, but they actually just keep gaining ground on you as well. Really, I thought tactically, I thought the two systems, theirs was very well thought out. If it was, maybe it's just how they play every match. I don't know, but it certainly it definitely negated a lot of the good stuff that we've seen from Celtic in Europe this year anyway. And I couldn't help but feel, just from a purely Celtic point of view, that they've done their homework on how we play, and that they found that they found the way to sort of combat all the problems that we gave very good team like Leipzig in our last game.
I thought, it looks and it feels that we were ponderous at the back, and we were slow bringing the ball out, and Carter Vickers and Trusty were a bit pedestrian in possession. But I think what the problem was is that they had done their homework, and they'd done a number on the entire midfield three. We couldn't get the out ball, which is normally a McGregor dropping deep and picking it up. He was more often than not, their captain was sitting right on top of them. And that's probably something that they've picked up from watching us playing, that so much comes through McGregor dropping deep and starting to build the play. And we couldn't get him on the ball. We couldn't get Hatate into any sort of good position. Every time he got the ball, he was being closed down immediately, and they were forcing mistakes from him. Similarly with Engels, and he's just a guy. There always has to be a fall guy, and at the minute, that's him, and it's because of the expectation level with the fee. Going back to the lineup, it's his go-to lineup. He can say all he wants about he picks the team for the match. That's his. I
think it was me who said that.
No, Rogers has said as well, but he picks a team the best team to win the next game. But I think it's clear beyond any doubt that is his go-to starting 11 now. I totally expect it to change for Saturday. If it doesn't change for Saturday, I'll be very, very surprised. I think Bernardo has looked really, really good in the substitute appearances. And again, you'll probably, if you're watching the game through a Bernardo lens, you'll feel that he did more in the time that he was on than Engels did. But again, if you watch the game back, Bernardo did also give the ball away quite a few times. But because he's Bernardo, there isn't the same, he's Bernardo that costs 3 million. There isn't the same focus on it. That said, I do think he looks a player who's kicked on from last season. I'll be very, very surprised. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get a start at the weekend. If he doesn't, he's never going to get one. But I thought they negated our midfield three so much that the defenders didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. and that kind of manifested in the goal that we gave away, because we've tried to play it out. We've gave it to Kuhn, and he's been under so much pressure. He's had to go backwards, and Schmeichel's then made the angle for Kuhn to make the pass. He's gone to Carter Vickers instead, and just inexplicable mistake that he's the last person you would expect to see it from. But I think whilst Bruges didn't score that goal, I think the way they played created that scenario where something as stupid as that could happen, because they were so clever in the press and they were so energetic, and you could see that they knew what the danger areas were. They knew Kuhn was a danger man, and they were really tight on him. They were really tight on Atai. He wasn't getting any time to turn, and they were stopping the flow of the ball from the centre backs into McGregor. And
yeah, I take a point. I take a point on. I think the reason Schmeichel's out of position is because of how, like, Brugge forced that, right? Because of how well they're pressing, etc. But what Cameron Carter-Vickers does, that mistake would be an OG against Stirling Albion, my local team, for example, because what he's done is he's passed the ball within his goal frame, towards his own goal, without looking. Forget his Cameron Carter-Vickers and all the credit in the bank. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons Engels is getting, harder. He's not got that credit in the bank. That mistake there is so lax, so complacent, just late. It's stupid. And that doesn't matter who your opposition is or what press they're doing. Because see, if he really was rattled by the press, even then you'd be more alert. It's so casual. To not be looking when you're passing it back to the goal, which also means he's not had a shout from the keeper either, because the keeper's over there. So therefore, what he's thinking, being like that, I don't get. And I don't need to caveat everything with I love Cameron Carter-Vickers. Looking at this moment in isolation, that is shocking error on his part. A no-look pass towards your own goal. Forget Champions League level, any level, without a shout from your keeper, and you've not even you just couldn't turn your head. I don't get that. And that sort of sloppiness isn't something that we could say gets punished at Champions League level. That ball goes in the net against anyone.
What I'm trying to say is the reason that the goalkeeper isn't there to get the ball is because he's had to make an angle for Kuhn, who's had to backtrack 30 yards to try and find an out, and his out was going to be either Carter Vickers or the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's made that angle. If we weren't under that pressure and Carter Vickers gets that ball and passes it back, 99 times out of 100, Schmeichel will sweep that out to Taylor on the left, and nobody will even mention that Carter Vickers played a ball back across his own goal without looking.
Well, think the other way though, Terry. If Schmeichel's over there in that position, which is, as you say, unnatural because of this press, surely his shout comes from over there. He's not went over there not shouted for the ball, has he? He's not went over there silent. So I don't get how, under this intense sort of press, as you say, under that pressure, someone can be so switched off and removed from everything else that's going on. So that I'm not disagreeing with you. But that moment from Cameron Carter-Vickers, in my opinion, is one that's completely isolated from how that game is developing. You're right, the press caused Schmeichel to go there. But Schmeichel goes over there and shouts for the fucking ball as well. Let's be real. He's not going to be silent over there. So how is he not picked up on the fact that that voice is coming from the other side of his, from behind than that one? And as I say, a fundamental anyway, I just think it would be an instinctive thing to do. When you're passing it back within, between the posts, mate, regardless of your keeper, you instinctively just look before you pass it anyway. To not be doing that, it's just poor on his part, mate. And to me, that is a proper individual error, whilst we were trying as a team to find a way to sort of stop this press that, as you say, was causing us problems. And I totally get all that. But what on earth?
I know. You don't need to give teams a goal at this level. Like,
no, and that was an absolute giveaway. You're absolutely spot on. And it's a rare mistake, of course it is. But we've got to be honest. To me, that's all on him. And it looks worse and worse the more you see in the replays. I was worried at that point. Worried because by the time they'd scored, you kind of felt they were going to get a goal. Then it's a calamity goal like that, and you're thinking, well, if ever the confidence was maybe diminishing a bit because of how the game is progressing anyway. An error like that can compound it and make it worse. And we've seen the movie a million times in Europe. Me and you've done too many of these fucking post matches about we concede 1, we concede 2 in Europe and all that carry on. And I was fearful at that point. This game was already kind of getting away from us without that goal occurring. Half-time was crucial. But incredibly, no changes made. That surprised me. Secondly, it seemed like we were going to be playing. I think Engels moved. The change he did make was sort of position Engels. The commentary even said it looked like he was further up the park from kickoff. Like, obviously, once kickoff's been taken, he pushed up a bit higher than he was playing before. But within 2 minutes, it's Schmeichel who pulls off an absolute fucking unbelievable save. That goes in. And then any wee tweak that you've just made there at half-time, you're now having to fucking find another solution because you're now two goals down. Brilliant from him. And of course, that's what he's there to do. It's his job. All that carry on. But
do you think it's just a bit of stubbornness? Do you think there's a bit of stubbornness there on the manager's part, not making the change at halftime?
Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't get it. You've got to have considered it. You have to. And I'll tell you the other thing that's stubborn. If you know, I'm usually a Rodgers, just back him all the time, even if I don't even know what we're talking about. But the corner kick thing, there was one thing I noticed the first half too. We did a short one again. I know a lot of people have been noticing this recently. But how you can tell me Alistair Johnston, 45, 50 yards with sort of no angle, is in a better place to put a ball into the box than what a guy taking a corner kick. Corner kick's an advantage. That's why you kind of like the crowd go a wee bit lively when you get one. How that ever could make sense as being the way to do this, I'll never know. And I don't get it. And it's just one example, yes, but it's because we're seeing it so continuously now, this short corner sort of strategy we're utilising. But I just feel, I'm looking at one point when one pass, 2 passes, goes back to Johnston. He's almost sort of straight on into the box. All he can do is a wee airy sort of floater with no angle on it, no whip whatsoever. And I'm thinking, I don't get what the benefit or the advantage is of that being the ball, not one from where the corner flag is. I don't get that. What's your thoughts on that very quickly?
It extends to the free kicks as well, Bhoycie. And again, it just seems to be the modern way is that when you get a free kick, that you play it short and you pass the ball around the back and you build from there again. But I don't see the whole point of a free kick is that you're getting to set up to your advantage and you're getting a free delivery of the ball. And what's happened? What's happened to bringing your centre backs up for a free kick and putting the ball into a dangerous area and trying to work an advantage from that free kick? It just seems, I don't know, it just seems to be the way, and it's not just Celtic, it's not Brendan Rodgers' team. This is the way most teams play now, and it's just all about passing and passing and passing. And sometimes that's great, but sometimes it's just for passing's sake. And I still think there's a place for getting your big men up and putting a free kick, getting your best man to deliver it without any pressure on him, and getting your 2 best headers, 3 best headers into the box and try and score from there. But we don't do that. Every single free kick is now short. And I just think the point of the free kick is to give you an advantage. And if you just start to play the ball about, you might as well not have got the free kick because you haven't done anything with it. You had possession before the foul. You've still got possession and you're still just passing it around. So I definitely think there's a place for the good old-fashioned set piece that you take advantage from. But
particularly as if, like, see if it is going to be the short pass thing, you go, right, okay, it's a different tack they're going. See if it's going to end up 1, 2, 3 pass, then we just kind of chip it into the box anyway. But from 50 yards out, I'm going, that I just can't work out.
Sometimes you see it back with the keeper. It ends up back with the keeper.
Bizarre. But anyway, that was a wee side point. Anyway, into the second half, Schmeichel makes that save, and you're thinking, oh, here we go. The double swap does happen. Via, who I think a lot of us were concerned that maybe was not going to be seen in a Celtic jersey again, or maybe not concerned, because of all the rumours that he's going to be called back to Barcelona in January, because it did seem strange that when he gathered momentum as the starter, that he was sort of pulled back out and not seen whatsoever. Or maybe that might have been the idea, but then it's like you're just watching the game unfold and going, do you know what? Fuck all the principles about whether he's going back there or not. Like, if he's an option to play and he's going to improve what we're watching in front of us right now, get him on. I mean, Bernardo comes on for Engels, and I think that was a swap that I think everyone could see coming. That quickly, an assist from it's an assist for Vi, right?
Yeah.
Passed it through, yeah, fucking within about 30 seconds. You're going, fucking hell. I don't want to focus on that as being the main point, but the two swaps, if ever you're going to make two swaps and you get a goal that quick, suddenly the whole dynamic changes, doesn't it? Because they've not even had time to get settled into the game, but suddenly it feels like, right, the momentum's with us. We've got the goal and the changes at the same time. Fresh impetus. This is like a whole new match for the next 30 minutes. But obviously, I'll let you talk about the goal itself.
No, it wasn't his first touch, Bhoycie, because I think he'd three involvements. I think he'd 3 involvements in the goal. He straight from the moment that he came on, he was involved in the build up. Then he was involved in the pass into Maeda. Now, is it an assist? He makes the final pass, but after that, it's just all Maeda. But in terms of Baye, I thought Taylor was weak. And again, he's another one who's easy to criticise. But I thought he was weak. There was a few times he looked really, really small and slight and was out-muscled quite a lot down that side. And he didn't seem to offer much from an attacking perspective. And Baye, from the moment he came on, got his head up and did try to go forward and did try to play forward passes. And we got a goal from that within, as you say, within 60 seconds. And I think he continued to do that the rest of the game. And I definitely think that the lad's got something about him. Whether he's going back or not is by the by for now. I think it was the right thing to bring him on. That's a couple of times now that's happened in the Champions League, where Taylor started the game and has been replaced with still quite a bit of the game left to go. But in terms of Maeda, great take, great cut inside, and once you see him shaping up his left foot, you just know it's only going one place. And
I'm glad it was his right.
and for once, it wasn't Rosette.
Well, it might have been if he'd went with his left. Was it not
Cracking
his right
finish.
foot?
Absolutely cracking finish. And again, on a night where very few players played to their potential, and you probably include that in him, but what you still got from him was the work rate, and how many times did he unsettle defenders and nip in when they thought they had loads of time on the ball. And he was a constant menace, and I was glad to see him get his rewards, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you were told, right, we're gonna score one goal tonight, up before that goal, and you had £1 to put on who you thought it would be, I would have said Maeda, definitely. When I said a right foot, by the way, Terry, just so you know, a right foot curler into that far corner like that, no, I wouldn't have put £1 on that. Absolutely outstanding. That's his 3rd goal in the Champions League, mate, this season. 3 and 5. But he is literally one of the first names in the team sheet. Any big game he plays, there's no doubt about that in my mind. What do you think? Well, you ain't 11's pick, so I get that. But
no, he plays every game when he's fit. What did surprise me, Bhoycie, was the switching with Kuhn. We done it after about 3 minutes. He switched them.
See, that came for a corner for them, a set piece from them, I'm sure. So Nicholas could have found himself on the left. But Maeda tried to, and then Kuhn went, no, not the now, mate. They've got the ball just up there. Like, you're leaving that side wide open. Once the game had had a wee sort of spell, they instantly swapped back.
But then it happened again later in the game as well.
Well, that was maybe just Maeda just cutting about, mate.
Aye.
He's a busy bee. But at that point, I didn't think it was a deliberate. Yeah, I thought that was just default, and then they had to just kind of roll with it for 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
As quiet as Kuhn was, Bhoycie, he still felt like the most likely person to make something happen. I still thought.
Is that based on what you were watching tonight, or is that just because of?
No, I still thought he carried menace. I mean, that run that he went on from out on the touchline, where he cuts in and he ends up on the 6-yard line, and only only a sort of a last defender getting in the way stopped him from scoring. I just felt he was the most likely player for us, and if he was, I thought he was all right. I know we've sort of waxed lyrical about him, and yeah, as use that same analogy, he's got plenty in the bank, but I still thought he looked dangerous in the times that he was able to get away. He was very closely marked, and he was marked well for much of the game. But he did still have a few moments where he looked as if he was going to create something.
I thought the way he was marked is another example of the homework they'd done. I thought that they've got this plan. They know exactly where our threats are coming from, how we play, how we won't like our opposition to play. I thought that was clever, and I felt more hopeful with Kuhn than belief tonight. And that's not a slight on him. He was, as you say, he was really closely marked, and I thought us breaking down their side throughout the park was very difficult, let alone just Nicholas Kuhn's battles. And he absolutely kept going, and as many times as he could, he was trying to make things happen. And he is obviously still one of our main threats. Do you know what I mean? But I thought it's probably not going to be his night. But do you know what? As I say, I go back to it wasn't a lot of people's nights tonight. I mean, it's not a lot of people in Celtic jerseys nights to the Champions League. This is a miserable podcast to have to do, and we start talking about the bold and all that carry on, and that was as disappointing the displays we could have put in. That's more disappointing for me than Dortmund in terms of performance, and the reason for that is we've seen that move with the Dortmund thing. This one we went into with confidence, proper momentum, belief, and in very good form, and we just were nowhere near what anyone's expectations were. And I think that's when you come away from that normally in the Champions League, where we're miles off it, even if it was low expectations, and we're miles off that, we get humped, mate. We get humped, and tonight we're still now 4 games unbeaten at home in the Champions League. And I know it sounds a really small run, but at this level, it's just some building there. Do you know what I mean? Even maybe another good wee psychological thing for Celtic. We'll play better than that in our next home game, and we've maintained that unbeaten run that we're on right now. Okay, it's not the winning streak. Again, I think times like that can grow confidence too.
Did you hear in the commentary that 8 of their starting lineup were 23 or younger? I thought
they fucking looked at it. Fucking hell.
Yeah, they did. They did. The right back looked like he was about 14, but I thought they played very maturely for guys that are so young. I mean, we look at people 22 and 23, and we think still really young player, lots of development. So in terms of that, I thought they played maturely.
He was managing in the Welsh League 6 months ago, son. Did you see that?
That guy was managing Wales, was he?
Mate, I don't know what it was, 6 months or last year or something like that. But in the Welsh Premier League, mate, he was in. And then he was assistant manager to Ronnie Dyler.
So Ronnie Dyler
lost the job.
Ronnie Dyler was at Bruce, right?
Ronnie Dyler lost the job and he got promoted. But it's within a year, I'm sure it is. He was in the Welsh Premier League, that manager. And you look at how Welsh structured, as I say, the way they pressed was really composed, really really well organised, but it was the way it grew. And then before you know it, it's like we've knocked the ball about, right? Not finding a way. But the more we do that, they just crept up a few yards each time. So when it went from our left back to our right back, they've crept up 2 yards. Then it goes to the right back, right along the back line to the left back, crept up another couple. I liked a lot of the things I've seen from them. They were a bit of a surprise as well, but it's not like any of us watch Belgian football either.
But they're regular competitors in the Champions League, Bhoycie, and I think we used them as an example when we were talking last year about that they were going out and spending 10 and 11 and 12 and moving into that next sphere of transfer fee. Yeah, Jack Hendry.
10 million on him, I'm sure.
I think it was, wasn't it? Didn't the other team? The other team got him for whatever they'd agreed with Celtic, and then flipped him the next day for 8 million profit or something. But I thought we did our good work whenever they appeared to go ahead again. Whenever seen the first replay, I was pretty sure it was going to be disallowed, but I didn't see it as offside in sort of live first view. But again, going back to the point I made earlier, Hitati gave the ball away just on our right-hand edge of the penalty box. And it wasn't one of them moments where it's risk-reward from Hatate. It was just absolute slackness, and he just played a ball to the opposition. And the goal comes from that. As I said, much of their dangerous moments, I felt, again, came from sloppiness from us. But thankfully it was disallowed. And that was kind of their last real moment where they looked particularly dangerous. And I think from that point it was what are we going to be able to conjure up something here in the last 15 minutes?
Yeah, if anyone was going to, it maybe felt like it was going to be us, but I don't think I was like at that right optimism, like, oh, we're going to do it. Do you know what I mean? I never really had that either. I just that's just my opinion.
I thought Ida did well when he came on.
Yeah, well, I think he summed up what we've talked about so many times, that chalk and cheese nature. That defender got booked as second he came on because it's a completely different style. And, I think that is the beauty of having such different types of striker. Quickly on Hatate, mate, I know we're pushed for time here because I know we've got what. I know you always listen to the Joe Hart thing about, when he's doing the commentary, it's insightful because he was in the dressing room only, fucking a matter of months ago. When Hatate gives that ball away in the second half, bear in mind he'd done that in opening 5-10 minutes. Remember, he'd given the ball away then, and Joe Hart interestingly says, "Love Rio." When you saw him, he goes, but he's always too quick to try and take the ball in the half turn. And I just wonder if the way he said it sounded like that's been something that's he's aware of, or maybe has been discussed at training and things like that in the past. That felt like almost a frustration on his part, and something that he's aware of, and I think maybe other players in the squad would be aware of. It did sound like he was talking from, we've spoke about this before sort of thing, because it was only the first time he gave the ball away, and instantly he used that as his example. It's the same mistakes on this in the second half, and he'd actually given the ball away right before that disallowed goal, then gives it away again, and it does lead to the goal that wasn't. That is a mile away from where he was against Leipzig.
Yeah, and I think when you do make those mistakes, they're going to be highlighted in this environment, whereas domestically he's going to get away with them. But again, the other side of Hatate then is the volley from the corner, which again I don't think that corner was probably what I was wanting at that stage. I was wanting the ball for Carter Vickers to head
the box
redeem himself. I was wanting Carter Vickers to redeem himself, but it still wouldn't have surprised me if that one from Hatate had ended up in the top corner, because that's just what he can do for you. And
is that one of those ones he caught it too sweetly, Terry? See, we come right off the laces, but it's just fucking perfectly straight.
If he'd mishit it, he might have had a better chance of scoring. But maybe Bhoycie, he had this propensity for giving the ball away. Maybe that's what's held Hatate back from being the guy that gets that move. Probably when he expected to get the move. I know he had an injury, but there was links with him moving away. And maybe when teams do watch him, it's maybe what they're weighing up is the amount of times that he does give the ball away, and especially if you're going to sign him to play in Europe's top competition, you just can't give it away. And tonight it just looked at every time he or any of the players gave the ball away, there was an opportunity for them to punish us. And that's come back to, I think they were quite wasteful, that they had a lot of opportunities where they could have created a better chance, but they kind of lacked that penetration. And I go back to saying it, we scored their goal, and whilst Schmeichel made 1-2 good saves, there wasn't really anything else. The shots weren't raining on him. There wasn't a lot for him to do.
No, but I do think they'd read the room very quickly. They knew what the traits of Hatate were, and they knew how to pounce. And I thought similar with a few other players of ours. Very quick before we go, Zagreb next. I think away from home. It is them next, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, we're away to them.
Yeah, it is. Away to Zagreb. I think you can now. Remember we were saying about the validation thing, right? About this game. I think this now falls into that same bracket. Going, look, they've got 2 wins and a draw.
Yeah,
very similar form to us. It's away from home, but it's a test. But we probably player for player, we'd like to think we've got the better squad. Go there and do something. Go to Atlanta and get a point. Go to Zagreb and get a win there, and all that validation. We have made strides in Europe. That all comes back from what we're looking for tonight. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be going there hopeful of getting a win, but it'll be one of those ones. If we don't get at least a draw, I'll be disappointed. But looking at the table again, as you say, they are actually only one behind us. I do think what is a little bit telling is there's 3 teams sitting at the bottom on 0 points: Leipzig, Bratislava, and Young Boys, and all 3 of those are in our little fixture list.
Yeah, just like 4th and 5th are in our list as well.
Yeah,
Dortmund and Atlanta.
Yeah,
Aston Villa are 9th.
Fair challenge back, but
that's how you look at it. Eh? Like this, I mean, that would almost be like saying like we had Real Madrid, but that's look at that league table. We've played the 20th team in the competition, 24th, whatever Real Madrid are, and describing it as that.
I think though, the young boys at home game now, well, depending how we get on in the game in Zagreb, but that game then probably or possibly will be the game where we have to get the job done to secure a passage through to the next round. And given that they've been getting thrashed regularly, you would hope that would be one that we could see over the line. But there's at this level, there'll probably be moments of jeopardy in that game as well. And
definitely. The way I see it is we've got 3 games left, and I think 2 out of the 3 we've got opportunity to make sure that we qualify. It's very much in our hands. That used to be a phrase you'd use in group stage football. It'd be like, is it still in your hands going into it? You're relying on other results. This is all in our hands, and it's realistic that we can do it. It's not like pie in the sky stuff. Get a win against Zagreb or Young Boys Bern, and you're going to be the top 24. Get points in both those games. You're looking at potentially into your top 16, win all the last 3 year games, and you'll be in that top 8.
Yeah, and the thing is, the way our luck's been with the draw this year, we could maybe finish 24th and still get the worst team left in the competition. Just the way things are going.
You never know. Anyway, Terry, midweek show, we will call it there. We've all got work in the morning. Can't thank you all enough for joining us. 231 in the stream right now. So a massive thanks to everyone who's joined. And Celtic get another point in the Champions League. Points, not plaudits. We'll see you later.
See you soon.